The My Ford University Podcast, episode 39. Today we're going to talk about the business model canvas. It's a way to build a business that actually works using one page to run it all. Welcome back, colleagues, to the My Ford University Podcast. This is George Sloan, founder and dean. And at My Ford University, we don't waste time with theory, and we focus on what works in the real world. So a lot of the tools and concepts and frameworks and models that you'll find on myforduniversity.com the focus is on getting you results. Learn it quick, learn it fast, and apply it faster. So we're going to talk about today's topic, the business model canvas. If you've got a business idea, or if you're already running a business, but things feel a little messy, or if you want a way to clarify, simplify, and, of course, execute, this episode is for you. All right, so we're going to walk through the business model canvas, which, what it is, why it matters, and, of course, my favorite part, how to use it. And, of course, how to apply it to your idea or company right away. So what is the business model canvas? Let's start with the basics. The business model canvas, or we'll use an acronym from time to time, the BMC, is a one-page framework that lays out the core elements of your business and what it does, how it creates it, how it delivers it, and how it captures value. Okay? So, it was created by a gentleman named Alexander Osterwalder, and it's now a global standard for startups, corporates, and nonprofits. Anyone serious about business. It breaks your business into 9 building blocks, and we're going to go over them real quick, and then we'll go a little deeper in a few minutes. So, number 1, it looks at customer segments, okay, who you serve. Number 2, it looks at your value propositions, what you offer them. Number 3, it looks at channels, how you reach them, and the them is customers, remember. Number 4, customer relationships, how you interact and retain them. And believe me, and I talked about this in a previous episode, customer retention is super important, because if you are going to have to go out all the time and get new customers because you're not holding on to the old ones, it gets expensive. Number 5, revenue streams. This is about how you make your money. Number 6, key resources, what you need to run your business. Number 7, key activities, what you must do well. Number 8, key partnerships, who helps you. And number 9, cost structure, what it costs you to operate. This is not a business plan, and it's not a pitch deck. It's a thinking tool, and it helps you put it all together. And the great part is it can all be done in one page. So it's a very simple approach, but it gives you quite a bit of value. So you can map out your business model in about 30 to 60 minutes and see exactly where you're strong, where you're guessing, and where the gaps are. And the gaps, obviously, are things that we need to address. So, might be asking, why the business model canvas matters? Well, most people don't fail because they're lazy or unmotivated. They fail because they didn't understand their business model. They had a product, but they had no clear customer. They had a service, but no scalable delivery system. They had costs, but no predictable revenue. The BMC, or Business Model Canvas, forces you to answer the questions you've probably been avoiding. Like, who exactly is this for? Why would they care? How do they even hear about it? Will they pay for it? Can we deliver it consistently and profitably? So this tool helps you validate your assumptions, spot potential bottlenecks, aligns your team, communicates your model to investors or partners, even though it's not a pitch book, and makes real decisions based on clarity. I think what you need to understand is investors and partners, they want to know that you have an understanding of the business and what direction you're going. And this tool can help because it helps you do that too. All right, so let's look at the 9 building blocks in more detail. We're going to walk through the canvas block by block with practical questions to ask yourself along the way. Number 1, customer segments. Questions you want to be thinking about. Number 1 question is, who are you actually serving? You need to be specific. Not millennials. Try first-time job switchers age 25 to 35 in tech. That's specific. If you try serving everyone, you will end up serving no one. So ask, who has the problem? Who will pay to solve it? And are there multiple segments? Number 2, you want to look at value propositions. What are you offering, and why does it matter? This is the heart of the model. It's not just your product, it's the outcome, benefit, or relief that it delivers. I harp on this all the time. No one cares where you went. All they care about is what you can do to help them. What can you deliver? What outcome can you provide? What problem can you solve? And what can you do in a value-oriented model? So your value proposition is a critical aspect. And we've talked about, obviously, unique selling propositions usually tied to your value proposition. What's the benefit? What's the payoff? Remember, customers like talking about the WYSIWYG model, which is, what's in it for me? So you want to ask some questions. Here we go. What problem do you solve? What desire do we fulfill? What makes us different or better? Listen, people are always going to be looking for solutions that help them solve a particular problem. Whether it's to make them feel better, look better, make them richer, make their life easier, whatever it is, you need to focus on it. What is it that you're doing that's going to make their lives better? Okay, number 3, channels. How do you reach your customer? This includes marketing, sales, delivery, and support. And don't overlook support. I mentioned in a previous episode, everyone focuses on sales, but that's the front end. The back end is super important, and everyone overlooks it, and that's support, because that is what drives your retention. And retention is key because, again, you don't want to be constantly on the treadmill of trying to get new customers. So don't overlook support. Here are some questions you want to ask. Where does your audience hang out? How do they find you? How do they receive the product? Start simple with 1 or 2 solid channels, and that's better than having 10 scattered ones. You know, you're going to probably notice some overlap here. Kind of think back to when we talked about customer journey mapping. Think back to when we talked about the 4 Ps. Again, you're going to see overlaps when it comes to this stuff. These tools are all really good to use. Some may be better for you than others. Use the ones that work for you. Number 4, customer relationships. What kind of relationship are you building? Is it self-serve like Amazon, or is it personalized like a private coach? Community-based like a Facebook group? You want to ask yourself some questions. How will you acquire customers? How will you retain them? And what kind of support or engagement is expected of you? What does fulfillment look like is the way to think of that one. Okay, revenue streams. How do you make money? Is it one-time sales, which makes you transactional? Or is it subscriptions, which is more longer-term and more relationship-based? Is it licensing? Is it ads? Is it referrals? Ask the following questions. What will they pay for? How much will they pay? How often will they pay it? And is your pricing aligned with the value? Again, I harp on this one a lot. Make sure you provide value. You want to give them a solution that is profitable for you. If you do that, you've provided some value. Okay, number 6, you want to look at your key resources. What assets do you need to run? Do you need people, tools, software, patents, brand, funding? What's the critical things that have to be in the mix for your product and service to be successful and help your clients or customers? I always like to think of customers as transactional. I think of clients as long-term relationships. So there's a slight distinction that I personally make. All right, ask, what must we have to operate? What's expensive or rare? And do you have some special ingredients or some elements or chemicals that are expensive? These are the key resources to make your product or service what it is. You also want to ask, what can't we outsource? Some things do have to be in-house and some don't. Number 7, key activities. What do you really do well? That's about execution. Listen, you want to focus on the things you really do well that provide the most impact on your situation. If there's things that you don't do well, that's when you think about hiring contractors or jobbing it out. So ask yourself some questions. What do we do that creates the value? Where's the magic? What's the secret sauce? Another question. What is the engine of the business? What is the engine of the business? What really makes it work? What is it that makes it special? And what aspects must be world class? Maybe they don't need to be world class and you're low margin player dealing on volume. But in many cases these days, that just doesn't quite cut it, because then you become a commodity and then your margin just goes further and further down as you race to the bottom. So what aspects do you need to have that are world class? Okay, number 8, key partnerships. Who do you rely on? Got to be careful with this one. You want to look at vendors, agencies, platforms, distributors, affiliates. These are your leverage points. You got to be careful not to get in bed with the wrong one or to put all your eggs in one basket. Sometimes it pays to have more than one, so you have contingency plans. So ask yourself some questions. Who can do what we cannot do? Or you might say, who can do it better? Who reduces our risk or our cost? Who brings reach, speed, or expertise? Again, be honest when you're answering these questions, because you don't want to deceive yourself. I think back to the SWOT analysis that we talked about. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And based on the strengths and weaknesses, what opportunities do you have and what threats do you face? Again, you're going to start to see a lot of these models start to overlap. Number 9, your cost structure. What are your biggest expenses? Look at fixed versus variable, scalable versus not. This is about understanding what it costs to run your model. For those of you not familiar with fixed versus variable, every business has fixed costs. No matter what, those costs are there. Okay, that's the way to think about it. Just by being a business, you have some fixed costs. They just exist. Variable costs, on the other hand, is when you make a sale and you have to do fulfillment. There are certain costs in making the sale, in delivering the product, in delivering the service, fulfillment. So fixed are always there, and variable only happens when you make sales. I'm going to go into a whole bunch of stuff on that. Again, that starts getting into accounting. And again, we'll make accounting simple for you. Don't get scared. And in particular, we'll do a break-even analysis episode, and we'll talk about how fixed costs, variable costs, and at what point do you break even. In other words, how many units do you have to move to cover both the fixed and the variable? When the revenues pierce the variable above the fixed costs on a graph, that's when you start making profit. It'll make more sense when we cover it, but just to get started. All right, ask yourself, what drives our biggest costs? Are we spending where it matters? Can we reduce waste? I'm a big proponent of lean, and lean gets into eliminating waste. We'll do a whole thing on lean, and it gets into Six Sigma. All right. Let's do a real-life mini case study, okay? Let's say you're launching an online course to teach Spanish to travelers. Good luck with that. Some people are not teachable when it comes to language, but we'll play along. We'll run with it. All right, so we'll talk about one of the 9 blocks, and then I'll give you an example. So Block number 1, customer segments. The example, adults age 25 to 45 who want to travel smarter. Block number 2, the value proposition. The example is speak Spanish confidently in 30 minutes a day. Block number 3, channels. Going to reach them through Instagram, email funnels, and mobile apps. The next block, relationships. Email onboarding, private Facebook group, revenue streams, $49 a course plus $199 coaching upsell. Next block, key resources, you, your video content, and your site. Next block, key activities, content creation, marketing, and support. Next block, key partnerships, Stripe, which is a payment method, Kajabi, which is a platform for courses, it's the one I use actually, and freelance editing or an editor. Actually, on that one, I highly recommend you look into using something like ChatGPT. It's a very powerful editor, and I'll go into a whole thing on how to use it as a editor, a researcher, an assistant. It's really, really helpful. All right, next block, cost structure. Hosting, the email platform, the ad spend, and there you go. You covered the 9 blocks. Boom, in one page, total clarity. Now, I would have analyzed it and look at it and say, where am I doing really well? Where am I, struggling a little bit? And what can I do to close the gaps? So now you can make decisions based on reality, not just theory. All right. When and how often do you want to use this canvas, this business model canvas? You're going to use it before you build, after feedback or failure, when pivoting, when training your team, or during strategic planning sessions. And revisit it at least once a quarter. The market does change, and your strategy should too. Honestly, especially early on, you should be looking at this almost monthly, weekly. The more you go and reassess and make adjustments, the better. Okay? If there's anything you've learned here, we talk about applying it and trying to get results, positive results, as quickly as possible. All right, here's a few pro tips. Don't overthink it. Start messy. It's a tool, not a test. No analysis paralysis here, folks. There is no perfect. There's only better. And the first step of any journey is half the battle. So get something down. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just get started. And you can make it better as you go. Another pro tip, focus on value. Every part of the model should tie back to the value that you create. Super important. Next one, test your assumptions. I hate using the word assumptions. Think about my NASIC model, no assumptions, suspect, investigate, and conclude. So maybe there we should say, instead of testing assumptions, test your suspicions. All right, so the BMC doesn't give you answers, but it helps you get better questions. Think about that for a second. Next pro tip, keep it visible. Post it on your wall. Make it a working document, not a forgotten file. That's true of almost any of these models. You should look at it and have it there to be visible for everyone all the time. Always refer back to it. Look to it for some motivation to keep on improving and keep on moving forward and pumping out value. Okay, some final thoughts. The business model canvas is, of course, one of the simplest, most powerful tools that you can use. It fits nicely with a lot of these tools. You can use it to help you with your marketing plan, your strategic plan, your business plan. It fits just about everywhere. And it gives you clarity, structure, and focus. It makes you think like a strategist. It shows you where to dig deeper. It shows you what to fix and what to double down on. I've always say, when you find something that's working, see if you can't scale it up and do more of it. If you find something that's not quite working, see if you can fix it. Or if it is just unfixable, try a whole new approach. Okay. At My Forward University, you know that we believe in clarity plus execution. This tool gives you both. So if you've never built a canvas, start now. And if you've built one before, revisit it this week, today. That's the best time, now, because there is sometimes no tomorrow in business. So just because real businesses aren't really built on guesses, you got to keep making sure that you're not going pure guesswork. This is not to say you don't make decisions with imperfect information. You make the best decision possible with what you've got. Businesses are built on value. They are delivered through a smart, intentional model, and this is one of those models. All right, that's it for this episode of the My Ford University podcast. I invite you to sign up because it's free, and you want to also consider looking at the articles. There are also video versions of this that you'll find on YouTube. Please check us out. If it helps you, please share it with someone who's building something special and real. I always say, don't keep us a secret. Tell people about us. So until next time, think sharp, move fast, build a business that actually works. And My Ford University is here to help. Again, you can learn it fast and apply it faster. Thank you.